Hi, everyone. This is Lynn Boutier. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of my smaller series, which is called Catching Myself Feeling Good. This is me as a certified trauma recovery coach, recognizing the times, the places, the ways that I notice that I'm experiencing recovery. I'm experiencing wellness. I'm actually recognizing that I do have moments where I feel really good. And what is the point of speaking about this? What is the point of sharing this with my viewers? Because people who are trauma and abuse survivors can sometimes have significant difficulty recognizing when they feel good, recognizing when they feel okay, when they are not experiencing any form of trigger or after effects of their trauma, but they're just actually getting to the business of living, just living and feeling free and engaging the way they might have done before the traumatic events or event had taken place. And for some of us, we feel like there's such a big, vast void and distance between when we felt okay before whatever happened and how we feel now. Like there's just this vast void that we don't know how to cross it, but we can have this overwhelming feeling. I want to get back to where I used to be. I want to have carefree moments where I just connect. I connect with myself. I connect with other people. I connect with my environment. I connect with the world. And I connect in ways that mean that I'm back to my natural, unencumbered self, the free self, the person who doesn't have to go, oh yeah, but that, oh crap, that happened. And I still feel awful and I can't get excited. I can't get to that feeling of okayness and spontaneity, lightheartedness, the feeling that I'm not injured. So this series is about reconnection with that feeling. Okay, the Catching Myself Feeling Good series is about very, very small things that we notice when we go, oh, I just noticed I feel good. And the more we can create new, healthy neural pathways in our brain, the more we will experience what we call trauma recovery. Our brain gets told the same story by us again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And if we have a thing that happened and we believe that it happened to us because it was our fault, or because we're faulty, bad, broken, shameful, or malfunctioning, or if we have been receiving significant toxic shame from another human being or a group of people or multiple different individuals, we can begin to create those neural pathways in our brain. It's not our fault. It just happens. Not shaming anybody about this because it's very autonomic. It means we don't consciously do it. But the new neural pathways that are the after effect of repetitive thinking and feelings, repetitive behaviors that are the after effects of a traumatic event or traumatic condition, a traumatic environment, a traumatic relationship. When those neural pathways are beaten down so that we just keep taking the same old path and the same old path and the same old path, because that's what our brain knows. And if we find ourselves like out in a park and we have a trail that we're walking on, and it's very, very obvious that it's a trail, and it comes to a point where it could split off this way, or we can continue on the one that we're on. We tend to feel safer as human beings if we stay on the one that's already well established. there could be some risk over there of getting lost. And my brain naturally wants to take the course of safety. It is always, always, always wanting to seek safety. Now, there are some of you who may look at that and say, actually, I'm an adventurer and I would love to have the less taken path to see where that goes. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. But it's just really common for a person who has significant trauma to not take that path. They want, a lot of times they want the one that feels like it offers more safety. And if it's so wide and the grass is so removed and the soil is so compressed that it's just very obvious to my brain, my field of vision, as it's sorting all of the stimuli out for my brain to process and make an instantaneous decision, an incredibly rapid decision of which way am I going to feel better when I encounter this situation, which one is going to cause me to feel safest, which one's going to cause me to be safest. And so we do the same thing. And I've given this analogy to some of my clients, and I may have used it in some of my videos, but I'll just share one more with you, which is this happens all the time. I've had this happen to me so many times. When you come out of a doctor's office and they say, we'll be right with you, have a seat, we'll call you when we're ready to check you out, so that you can complete your office visit. Okay. So they direct you to go through that door and have a seat in the waiting room. We'll call you when we're ready for you. As soon as we push that door open and walk out into that waiting room, our nervous system immediately scans the entire room in a lightning fast way. And we find the safest spot for ourselves in that room, and that's where we will sit down. It's not conscious thought. Very, very little conscious thought goes into this process. But our brain has a way of knowing as soon as I'm going from the situation I'm in right now, I'm going to cross through that door and I'm going to go into a situation where I don't know what's out there right this second, but in a second I'll know. And I'm going to need to have a seat, and my brain's going to figure out at lightning speed where is the safest place for me to sit down and settle in that room while I wait. So I'll give you a couple examples. If there's one other person in the room, we're not going to sit down at that chair that's right next to that person that's sitting there. It's just not going to happen. If one of us did do that, there's only one person in the room and we don't know them, we've never met them, but we're going to just go sit elbow to elbow with them while there are 35 other chairs open and available in that room. We don't do that. Healthy human beings don't do that. And I'm not saying that if somebody did that, they're not healthy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if you just want to go by probability, the likelihood of somebody coming out through that door and choosing to sit elbow to elbow with the only person that's in that room, I've never seen it happen, and I've never done it. The reason I don't do it is because my nervous system automatically detects you will feel safer with some distance between you and that person. And the way our social conditioning is set up, we all know that we do the same thing on public transportation. If there's only one seat when we get on the bus, then we'll take that seat. But if all the seats are open except for one, we're not going to plop ourselves down shoulder to shoulder with that person who's sitting there if we don't know them. And so what does this have to do with the discussion that I'm in the midst of right now? What we are doing is we are safety-seeking creatures, and we do know how to self-soothe. We do know how to make a decision, like I said, lightning fast, that will put ourselves at ease. The reason that we do that is because our brain is always doing two things: keeping us alive and seeking safety. It's its two main jobs: keep you alive and keep you safe. Keeps me alive and keeps me safe. So I had an experience in my life where I went through certified trauma recovery coaching school, and I had an opportunity to learn a lot of information that I had not understood before. It had never been presented to me in my life before, especially in this way. But when we were learning about safety and seeking safety and how our autonomic nervous system works to provide ourselves safety, well, we'll go back to that waiting room for just one more example for a second. Okay. If we walk through that doorway and we're about to walk into that room, and there are, let's say, 3 or 4 people in that room, our brain has the ability to scan each one of those different situations and come up with the one that seems the safest individual to sit in the vicinity of. Because if there's a mom with a couple kids at one end of the room, but her children are coughing and wiping their runny noses with their hand, our nervous system reads that as, I could get sick. They might have some sort of, highly contagious cold or flu or something like that. They are at a doctor's office. It might be best to sit at the other end of the room. So we do scan when there's more than one person in the room. We still scan very rapidly to see which area is the safest for me to sit in. But we do it because it's our brain in autonomic self-protection mode. Well, when we have had the neural pathways in our brain, that's an example I gave you. Those neural pathways by adulthood are well established in a brain. Come through the doctor's office door, we go sit down, and our brain knows how to, without us going, let me think, let's ponder this for a minute. No, it's way faster than that. It's not on the conscious level, it's on the subconscious level that our brain is doing this. But when we have a situation where trauma has happened to us, and traumatic experiences, I should say, have happened to us, because trauma doesn't happen to us. The very definition of trauma is what is left inside the body after a traumatic event, occurrence, experience, environment, relationship, whatever has occurred. It's the after effects and the responses that are left inside the body afterwards. Okay, that's the very definition of trauma. The most basic definition of trauma is our nervous system, okay, our body having the normal response to an abnormal event, occurrence, situation, circumstance, environment, or relationship. All of these things are all of the things that are left within us afterwards. That is the trauma. So our response to what happened is the trauma. It's as simple as that. Trauma is a response. But we refer to it also as an occurrence. Like, oh, I had this trauma happen to me. Well, that's a traumatic occurrence or experience. But when we have enough of them that have occurred to us, or even just one significant one, our brain makes neural pathways, and we see it, and we think about it, and we respond to it again and again and again and again and again inside of our mind. The brain knows how we process this after a while, and it begins to do it very automatically. And so when we catch ourselves feeling good, I'm taking the very long scenic way to get to the part about catching ourselves feeling good. Catching ourselves feeling good is so important to trauma recovery, because when we do that, we're interrupting the long established or moderately long established patterns that already exist in the brain, in our neural pathways, that keep taking us down the exact same path of blaming ourselves, blaming someone else, trying to make sense of it, trying to validate ourselves, trying to process our shame, trying to process some humiliation, trying to process betrayal, trying to process abandonment. And we keep doing it over and over and over and over again, because our mind and our brain are set up to want to complete a process. They're wanting to have completion of the process of emotionally, psychologically, biologically processing what has taken place. So we get kind of caught in a trap of doing the same things, thinking the same things, believing the same things again and again and again in a cyclical fashion, a repetitive fashion. And that causes neural pathways in the brain that keep us from recognizing feeling good. So when we interrupt those neural pathways and we not try to, but we just do, we just substitute one little thing in for what I was doing automatically for a long time. Well, I caught myself feeling good today because I was in this room and I was making a video. And when I got up, I had to walk past my piano. You can't see it, but it's on the other side of the room. There's a piano in this room. And on top of the piano, I had, it's been sitting there for well over a year. It's a percussion instrument, and it's called a tongue drum. I have no idea if you have ever seen or heard of a tongue drum. Whoa, that's what it sounds like when a tongue drum hits the floor. I can't believe I just did that. Good, nothing broke off the bottom. I'm really embarrassed right now. This is a tongue drum. This is one of the tongue drums in the world. There's lots of different types of tongue drums, but this one is from Pearl Percussion. I'm sure if anybody from Pearl Percussion watched this video, they would say, what did you just do? Oh my goodness. Well, this was purchased by me as a gift for my son-in-law's birthday. And he was a musician. He is a musician, but he's not my son-in-law anymore. He became divorced from my daughter. And he was a person who had lived his life having very, very few things given to him by the people who brought him into the world. His mother and father, and he had a grandmother. These people were not particularly kind or safe or generous or compassionate or loving with him. And it didn't take long for me to understand that this was a human being who had not received the things that my kids had received, which were things along the way that told them, I love you, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, you matter, and I care. And that my life got better when you came into the world. So kids are not told these things. And this young man was not told these things. But because of his passion for music and his incredible musical ability, when I gave him gifts, I tried to include something that was a musical, something that had a musical function in some capacity. And I knew he had lots of unhealed trauma. And I wanted to give him something really kind of different that he would not purposely seek out for himself or, save up to buy or anything like that. But one day I was on YouTube and I was watching different things about various types of percussion. And this Pearl, it's from Pearl Percussion, which I'll show you on the back of it. This tongue drum was being demonstrated on someone's YouTube channel. And I followed the link and I purchased this tongue drum and I gave it to him for his birthday. Some people play, so you can see that these cut out segments. This is one piece of metal. Okay, it's one curved, like a pillow type piece of metal. And the tongues are carved, they're cut in a curve, and that resonates sound when they're struck either with fingertips. And some people play them with their hands, and other people play them with percussion mallets. So this tongue drum came with percussion mallets. And you won't be able to see me hitting the drum, but I'll just show you, just. The sound that it makes. Well, I found an article on Google, and it's from a website. It's hard for me to pronounce the name. I'll tell you what her name is. This is written by Nalini Arya. Her last name is Arya. Okay, she's an energy healer, author, mindfulness leader, spiritual nutritionalist, and Vastu expert. So her name is Nalini Arya, and she has a website that is naliniarya.medium.com. And she has an article that she wrote. It's called Unlocking Harmony and Healing, the Enchanting World of Tongue Drums. So I'm just going to read you the first paragraph. And if you're interested in this, and I'll show you, this is a picture of a slightly different type of tongue drum from the article. Okay, and that person is playing the drum with their fingers, obviously. But it says here that it says, my journey to discovering the tongue drum. In the symphony of life, music acts as a universal language that resonates deep within our souls, touching the chords of our emotions and spirit. One musical instrument that has captured the hearts of many, not only for its melodious tunes, but also for its spiritual essence, is the fascinating tongue drum. My journey to discovering the tongue drum. Stumbling upon the tongue drum marked a transformative moment in my life. It all began when a close friend introduced me to the world of alternative healing methods and sounds therapy. Curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to explore the realm of sound therapy to see if it could truly have a profound impact on my well-being. Some of you have experienced singing bowls, and those are an incredible sound bath experience. If you ever have the opportunity to have it, it is wonderful. And I've experienced it twice, and it was just phenomenal. Moved me to tears. The tale of the tongue drum. The tongue drum, also known as a tank drum or hank drum, is a captivating percussion instrument that belongs to the idiophone family. Its mesmerizing sound is produced by striking the tuned tongues or notes on its surface. The construction is simple, yet it is compact on the listener. Yet its impact on the listener is profound. Crafting harmony through sound. My first encounter with the tongue drum was nothing short of magical. As the mellow, enchanting notes filled the room during a sound therapy session, I could feel the stress and tension melt away. It was as if the vibrations resonated with my very essence, creating a sense of tranquility I had never experienced before. The soothing vibrations can alleviate stress, anxiety, and promote a sense of tranquility. In the realm of sound therapy, the tongue drum is an invaluable tool for its ability to induce relaxation and mindfulness. So the article it goes on quite a bit more, and it gets into chakras and explaining what each chakra is, and the effects that sound therapy would have for people on different parts of their bodies. And I wanted to share this with you today because I had so many other things on my mind. I had just finished making the previous video, and I was walking through this room, and all of a sudden I just stopped in my tracks, and I just looked at that tongue drum and immediately felt like I want to play that. It's been a while since I played it, and I know that the second that I even pick it up, hopefully without dropping it like I just did a minute ago, they can be a little bit delicate, but I am absolutely certain that just going down 1.5 feet from the chair to the floor did not do it any serious harm. But most people would be a little more careful than I just was with a musical instrument. But anyways, so I wanted to play it immediately. When you hold the mallets in your hands and you start to play a percussion instrument, it's just takes you into that place of, I am feeling so good right now. I don't know why. I can't explain it, but ancient people all the way up to present day have understood that we feel good when we play instruments, when we listen to instruments being played, and when we resonate with the frequencies that are coming from the instruments or from human voice. It's just incredibly healing and therapeutic for human beings. So just for me, just looking at a tongue drum that's sitting on top of my piano immediately puts me into an I feel good moment. And I just wanted to share that with you because some of you may have a, how do I say it? Access to, in your community, a place where you can go and join a drum circle. They're easy to find. They're not unusual at all. You can contact a spiritual healer in your area and find out if there's even a place that that has if there's a yoga studio in your area. You can call there, pop in, and ask them, do you know of anybody who does drum circles? And I was allowed to, or invited to, I should say, participate in two of them, two different parts of my life, and I found that to be incredibly uplifting experience. It was just almost magical. But when you're sitting in a room and each person is holding their own drum and just doing their thing, just everybody just does their own thing on the drum, you start to attune to the other people who are playing, and then it becomes a resonant thing, and eventually everybody is just really caught into a rhythm that they're all participating in, and we just automatically do that as human beings. Nobody had to sit there and tell us how to do it. It just happened. It was very spontaneous, but it was a really awesome experience. And I hope that if you ever have an opportunity to participate in a drum circle or to play a tongue drum somewhere, you can purchase them through music stores, online, in your in your local area. And mine was purchased from a percussion shop. I forget what state. I think it came from California, but it was shipped to my home in just a couple days. And I think that this particular tongue drum with the percussion mallets came to about $300, and that was like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But after my son-in-law left our experience, he just suddenly decided to leave, and he had no dialogue with anybody before he went. He just left. It made me sad to recognize that all of the gifts that I had given him, he did not take with him. He left them all behind. And so the instruments that I had given him, some of them I have. So I also have a beautiful mandolin that I had given him for his birthday one year. And so now I have a little wall mount bracket to hang that mandolin right there. That spot is going to have it hanging, but I haven't done it yet. But I hope that this encourages you as a trauma and abuse survivor, or simply some people have their trauma, all of their trauma comes from abuse. But I differentiate the two because there are plenty of people who have trauma that they need to heal, they want to heal, but it has nothing to do with abuse. So I just state it that way, trauma and abuse survivors, just recognizing both. But there's a whole lot of opportunities for us to catch ourselves feeling good. And when we begin to tune our system to recognize, I just feel good looking at that. That's what happened to inspire this video. I just looked at my tongue drum. I walked past it every day, dozens of times. And then all of a sudden I just went, oh yeah, you're still sitting there. And I have not picked you up and played you in a while. And so I did. And so caught myself feeling pretty terrific. Does it last all day? Sometimes no. Sometimes it's only just for a couple minutes or 30 seconds. But the more we say on our inside, we don't have to say it outwardly to anybody if we don't want to. But the more we pause on the inside and say, I recognize that I just felt great for a minute. Just recognizing it is all we have to do to create the new neural pathways. I recognize that I'm capable of feeling good still. It was not completely obliterated. It still exists in there. I still have the ability to feel good. And that in itself is incredibly healing. So I'll leave it there for today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are interested in learning about, oh, I have to go back and just tell you how to find that website. This is from, so find the name of the website for you again one last time. It is Nalini Arya, ARYA.medium.com. And the article is entitled Unlocking Harmony and Healing, the Enchanting World of Tongue Drums, in case you want to read the whole article. It's a delightful article. I hope you all have the best day. Excuse me. Please remember, self-care is never, ever selfish. It's essential to well-being. And that you are infinitely worthy of your own trauma recovery. Sorry, I just inhaled my own saliva. Sorry about that. I am accepting new clients for my practice. If you're interested in becoming a client for one-on-one certified trauma recovery coaching, I work on Zoom or in person with local people. If you're not local to where I am, absolutely, I can work with you on Zoom. And I would absolutely love to hear from you if you're interested in that. There is so much to be offered to you for your trauma recovery, and working with a certified trauma recovery coach can absolutely give you what you have been looking for your own health and well-being, and for you to build new neural pathways in your brain so that you can recover from your trauma. You can reach me at my website, which is lynnboutier.com. You can email me, lynn@lynnboutier.com, or you can call my phone, which is 716-994-3052, and just be aware that all of this contact information is in the description page for all of my videos. So I look forward to hearing from you. I hope you have the very best day. I hope you can find at least one way today to just recognize I just caught myself feeling good. There's no feeling like it in the world. And the more we prime that pump, the more it comes naturally to us. And after a while, we don't even have to pause and separate them out and think about them anymore. They're just the way we encounter ourselves throughout the day, that it becomes second nature to us again. And we can go back to the way that our brain functioned and our mind functioned and our spirit and our body functioned before we were carrying the after effects of our trauma. Have the very best day, everyone. Take care. Bye.